Limitation of liability clauses are key contractual tools that allow parties to manage liability and risk exposure of parties, including under indemnity provisions. In this video, we discuss deal trends relating to various mechanisms used for limiting liability.
De minimis clauses are designed so that only substantial claims above a value can be a matter of dispute or indemnity between the parties post the closing. In our analysis, we found that de minimis caps were generally put at 0.13% to 0.19% of the transaction values. This is slightly higher than the global trends, which is generally around 0.1% of the deal value. Baskets would be typically of two types. One basket could be an excess-only basket. The second could be a tipping basket. We see baskets being very frequently used. In more than 73% of the transactions, baskets were used. And of those, more than 70% of those transactions had a tipping basket. The primary thought behind that is that once the overall value of claims that a buyer may have against the seller exceeds a certain amount, then all bets are off and the entire amount should be claimable by the buyer. So moving on to cap on liability, 84% of the deals had a cap on liability agreed between the parties. In 48% of the transactions, the caps were applicable to all types of claims. Of these, for fundamental and title warranties, in most situations the caps were at 100%. Whilst there is increasingly more and more conversation around W&I insurance, W&I insurance hasn't got enough traction in the Indian market. In our data set, we found only 8% of the transactions had W&I insurance. I would say there are two reasons why W&I insurance hasn't got enough traction in the Indian market. One is the depth of the service provider market and the ecosystem. Availability itself becomes a question sometimes. Number two, the number of exclusions that are applicable. Sometimes parties analyze and realize that they may not be getting enough protection to cover the risk that they really want to cover under an insurance product. What we see is that strategic acquirers and transactions generally do not see W&I insurance often, and most of the times it is the exiting private equity funds which are looking at W&I insurance.
With this, we come to the end of our 4-part video series, bringing you insights on some key trends that we have seen across private M&A deals in our dataset.